Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here. And joining me, as always, he's going to let himself in. We have the man with the fattest stacks of comics in the land. Rob, how you doing tonight, sir? Oh, I thought he was adding. Oh, there we go.
Sorry, I was pulling up the live chat, so I'm doing great,
problem.
Gary. Better than you, as we've been talking backstage. But hey,
yeah, I've had quite the day, but you know what? It's worked itself out. I'm here to spend time with my friends tonight and relax and get the course set straight again. So,
yeah, no, it's a new year. Well, I mean, you've had a couple Thursday ones since I've been on, but it's been a while since I've actually been on. You haven't had any Tuesday ones for a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, with the holidays, yeah, exactly. I
was beginning to think you didn't like me anymore.
I needed it. Huh?
I was beginning to think you didn't like me anymore.
Please, never the case. Never the case. You know that. But we're waiting for our guest is backstage. He had to run off and do something. So we're waiting for him, Cliff, to get back. But until he gets back, Rob, what's going on with you this week, sir?
Well, the usual schedule of things over on Fat Stax channel. Yesterday we did do a Monday mail call with the opening of boxes, which is Eternal.
Some Bronze Age keys.
Yep, some Bronze Age keys and dirt cheap. And then Thursday, I got my mystery box. It's going to be a $425 Knicks, Kicks, and Comics mystery box. So if you were curious what's in a $425 mystery box and why am I insane, you'll find out. And then Saturday at work. Saturday we got only
$600 worth of books in it. Exactly. But our guest has joined us backstage, Rob. Let's get him out here. The man of the hour, we have Cliff. How you doing tonight, Cliff?
Hello. I'm great.
Nice. A little last minute run around we saw. So.
I'm like, I need lighting. I'm like, what's happening?
That's okay. So as we like to do, Cliff, give a quick 2 minutes on who you are, what your channel's about, who else you're associated with out there. We'll go say hi to the chat after, then we'll come back to you for your first book, sir.
In 2 minutes. All right, I'll start with I'm Cliff. Many of you would know me from the Council of Comics, the Comic Book Community Award-winning Council of Comics. But my own channel is Cliff on Comics, which came about from me surfing through everybody's shows and everyone just being like, hey, Clifford NY. And I'm like, I don't like this. All of you have really cool names. So I created Cliff on Comics and now like that's a thing.
But you still go by Cliff NY or Clifford NY.
So, well, it's based on availability. I've been Cliff NY on IG forever, and I even had to fight I even not a real fight, but I even got, well, Rob, you know what it's like. I got into it with this bar, Cliff NY, or Cliff New York, right? You know, the Cliff New York's like that was like a whole thing. So that's my Instagram. I won that battle. They don't even exist. And on YouTube and Twitter, I'm Clifford NY.
Nice. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. And I mean, my own channel is basically like my unboxings, and then like whatever I want to do, you know, and anything that I feel like might get like a little dirty, and like I don't want the council dragged into it. I'm like, I'll just do that on my channel, just up here.
I do what I want to do. I do what I.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been collecting comics since I was 7 years old.
So 3 weeks ago.
40 years ago, as of a week ago, and 2 days. Let me just soak that in.
You know what? You can say that you're still the young guy on the panel, I believe.
Yeah, I'm still the young guy on the panel.
Yep. Oh yeah, I'm 53.
All right. Yeah, you still look all right for 53. We're okay. But I gotta tell you, the other day I'm at work with my two bosses, my colleagues, the psychiatrist we work with, and you know, we're basically doing like a late holiday celebration, and we're all chit-chatting, and one of the two psychologists in our group says, "Oh, this is my last year of my 20s," and I'm like, "What?" And everyone in the room feels so old. And then my of my two bosses, the higher up one is like, oh, well, this month I turned 40. And the 29-year-old gasped. And I was like, okay, no, this is unnecessary. You do not need to make us feel old. I was like, I'm the oldest person here.
Everything is relative.
Right. And they don't realize how fast time goes. They'll be there in a blink.
Oh, I told her. I was like, you will be me one day and you will know.
One day we were in the store picking up Copper Age or Bronze Age comics. The next thing you know, they're 40 and 50 years old. So there you go.
Yeah. And now we're paying $8 to $10 a book for a lot of ones off the shelf.
Yeah, a book I could have bought for 75 cents. Now I'm like negotiating for
a
it.
little bit of inflation happened.
Whatnot.
Just a wee little price hike since we started. All right, let's go over to our crowd tonight and say hello. First thing this evening, we have Hulk Collector Kevin. Nice to see you, sir. Good evening. Great supporter of the channel.
Could you imagine if our salaries kept pace with the price of comics?
Oh,
Wow.
I'd be living high on the hog. James Oscursis, great to see you, bud. Welcome in. Travis, TM Nerdy, good evening, sir. Nice to see you. One of my all-time favorite people, Jerry the Jitterbug. How you doing tonight, Jerry?
Jerry Wizard.
Yeah, we have Penciled Sketches. Good evening. Nice to see you. Bobby Catalano. Nice to see you, Bobby. Thank you for coming in. Another great supporter of the channel. And we got a lot of conversations going tonight. Look at that.
There is
nice.
a whole bunch of stuff about hacking.
We have
stuff.
Izzyverse. Good evening, Izzy. Nice to see you.
It's Cliff Month, Izzy. I'm a New Year's baby.
Seth 11. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you. Psychedelic Comics, Paul, good evening. Hope you're having a great night, buddy. Mr. DVH, Dr. Von Hoots.
Dr. Von
Always nice to see DVH in the crowd.
He's great.
And oh, what a day. John's Comics with Kids. Good evening, John. Nice to see you, sir.
John.
Spidey's Powdered Tumblers. Speaking of Spidey's Powdered Tumblers, right here, I'm always showing it.
And he's got a new giveaway.
Well, Spidey's just a good guy. If you're not following Spidey, if you're not following Jose, just follow Jose. He is a really kind-hearted, good gentleman. The Nerdly Weds. Good evening, Nerdy Weds. Nice to see you. I think I added an LY in there at one point for no reason. Mr. Chuck, how are you, sir? It's been a day, guys. And Mr. Chop and Drop. Good evening, Chop. Nice to see you, buddy. All right, so we are caught up for the moment, but we don't ignore our crowd. As everyone's coming in, we'll give them a quick little nod. But Cliff, it's all about you right now, sir. The stage is yours. Wow us with your first book. And
Wait a second. Yeah, I know you've never heard that before, but it's all about you, Cliff.
Oh, and W. Voggs. Good evening, sir.
All right, I really tried not to make this all about slabs, but like I do want to have a tale to tell.
There's a show for that.
I know. I'm warming up. You're both of you are on my bucket list, so we're crossing one off tonight.
This is an audition.
Aw. So this is a birthday gift from this January 1st. Is my light even? Let me get more light.
You're good. Is it a birthday gift from you to yourself, or
no? This is from my friend Anthony. We've been friends. We've been friends since 2002, and he is the owner of my local comic shop.
Oh, nice.
Good person to have a friend with. Yes,
and this is the. Oh my God! Why can't I remember his name? This is a. Oh my God! I can't say his first name, but it's the Rivas 1 in 25 cover for Superboy Man of Tomorrow #1.
Oh, cool cover. I don't think I've seen that cover before.
Yeah, especially it's the 1 in 25. And, and I don't think the orders for Superboy Man of Tomorrow have been through the roof, right?
I think our shop gets like 5 or 6 in.
Yeah. But I love the series. I thought it was a great 5-part series. I actually did something for Connor/Connell. And so like this was just a really delightful surprise. So I figure I would kick off with something recent.
So he's Connell now?
Well, no, what happened was when they were looking to give him a name, they way back in the first Superboy series, they were like learning about Krypton and Black Zero and this other stuff. and people who were clones were referred to as a Con-El, and then that was it. They gave him that name, right? And then that didn't seem like enough. So as more time got on and Superman wanted to ingratiate him more into the Superman family, that's when they developed Connor Kent, and he invited him to go live with the Kents in Smallville.
Interesting.
You see, they should have named him Con Air, and he could have grew up to be Nicolas Cage Superman.
You
Or
know,
a hairdryer.
somewhere in the multiverse, right? Somewhere in the multiverse.
All right, good first book.
Or a hairdryer.
All right, number 2, Cliff.
All right, number 2 is a double.
Eddie, good evening, sir.
Actually, number 2
is the Daily Double.
Okay. What order do I want? Okay, I'm gonna do 4. The next 4 are all one story.
Okay.
But are they 4 books?
It's 4 books. All right.
Okay.
So number 2 is 4
So
books.
this will be 2 through 5, but it's all one story.
Yes, they will count as 2 through 5. I do have some cheaters, Rob. I do have a couple where
I'm just trying to make sure we understand when we're keeping count. That's all.
Yes,
For those folks playing at home on the home game.
Yes. So in 87, I am 9 years old, and I bought this right off the rack in the supermarket.
Oh, nice.
And it's Superman 8. And he's fighting the Legion of Superheroes, and I don't even realize for years that this is John Byrne homaging himself, right? Of that famous Fantastic Four cover where Gladiator has defeated the Fantastic Four, right? Or that John Byrne, for his portion of the story, wanted to use 4 Legionnaires that match the Fantastic Four. Brainiac 5, who's super intelligent, Block, who's like the Thing, Sunboy, who's like Human Torch, and Invisible Kid, who would be like Invisible Woman.
Very cool.
So this book is my first introduction to the Legion of Superheroes. Now, what's funny is when Man of Steel number 2 came out, there was a huge ad for Mile High Comics and a 50-cent sale. And my mom called them at some point, like a few weeks after me owning that book, and said, listen, just give me every one of your 50-cent books with the name Super in it. Just send them, right? So
wow.
Weeks and months would pass, right? Because, things were different back then. And this is my first exposure to them. And shortly after, I get this huge box in the mail with all these comics densely packed inside, including some Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. And then I start putting together, something strange has really happened here. What could this be? And then I learned about Crisis on Infinite Earths. So this book even tells you what 4 titles to look for. But at this point in time, I have nothing that is anything like a local comic shop in my life. So I do not find the next 3 issues for ages to come, right? The second one, I don't know if it ever hit the racks or just flew off the racks, but I found it 3 years later in Canada when I'm about 11 or 12. And here's part 2.
Oh, nice.
Which took place in Action Comics. Now, the other 2 chapters, which take place in Legion of Superheroes, they were Baxter Edition comic books. You had to get them from an LCS. So if I'm about 11 or 12, I am 16, roughly, when I go to a Scott Liddell signing at Iron Vic's of New Windsor, New York, which was one of multiple Iron Vic's, which as I got older and I thought that mine was the only one, I would encounter other locals who was like, no, ours was the only one. Well, no, Vic liked to diversify. So I'm there, and Scott Liddell is signing copies of Alpha Flight with North Star coming out, and he's signing copies of his latest issue of Uncanny X-Men. So unfortunately, even though I got there early, I didn't get there early enough. So I got assigned Alpha Flight's 2nd print, and he signed my first print, my first edition of that Uncanny X-Men that he did. And as I'm walking out, I look at the wall behind me that I hadn't been paying attention to the entire time, and I see this hanging on the wall.
Oh, nice.
So this is the final chapter. So I get home because my dad took me in the morning. I get home, I pester my mother immediately upon getting home, and I was like, they definitely have the Death of Superboy. I have to have it. And we go back to the shop, and I dig through the bins when we're in the shop. And I found part 3.
Nice.
So this was $8. Death of Superboy was $12. So $20 my mom did not want to spend that day, but she also wanted me to shut up.
Well, it's funny too, because like the people that are Legion of superheroes collectors, like those books, it's a relatively, at least in the Bronze Age section of it, it's a relatively cheap run to put together and enjoy.
Yeah, except for those 2 particular issues are a little hard to come by.
That's all right. Your mom got them for you.
She did, and it only took years for that to come to fruition, right?
It's the hunt. And moms just are an easy mark.
Usually, but my mom was all about, my kid is reading comic books. I'm okay.
Right.
What is your kid up to?
Right, exactly.
Right. My kid could put a complete sentence together. What's your kid doing?
They're reading, and I know they're staying out of trouble.
Right. And my vocabulary level was several grades ahead of everyone else.
Right.
Which was, except I didn't know how to say chameleon for 2 years, and that was really rough.
There's always one, right?
There's always one. It was bad. Oh, it was embarrassing too, because I actually had to talk about reptiles in class in front of everybody, and I think I said chamelin, and everyone's like, chamelin, what do you say? I'm like, this thing, and they're like, chameleon, and I'm like, oh my,
well, at least you weren't calling it a carmelian.
Oh my god, nope, that would come late. That would come later. I felt
you just sounded like Vizzini from The Princess Bride. Chameleon.
Exactly. Yeah. Taylor brings it in.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, karma, chameleon.
Oh, goodness.
So
all right, sir. Next book.
Before Gary comes and goes.
The next book. How about I forgot I own this?
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And in recent memory, I would get upset when other people were just flashing it around their screen. I wanted to get a copy of it when I was in Canada, and someone snatched it off the suspension mantle that it was on, and like bought it, and I was like, oh god. And recently I was on Whatnot, and I was bid fighting somebody for it, and they outbid me. And the universe was looking out for me, because when I went to the comic box where I have these specific treasured childhood books, which basically have been untouched since my childhood, right? Except for me to move them from one box to another. I found Shazam #1 from DC Comics.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
And when I found this last night, while I was looking for this other stuff, I lost my mind. I'm like, oh my God, when did I buy this? And I really had to struggle and think about it. And I have bought this in a flea market in Canada. It took a while for it to come back to me, but I was like really excited. And of course it happened when I was a little bit older, but still I was like, yay. And like when I was a kid, the Shazam cartoon would come on in reruns. So I really enjoyed that. And also the same store that was called Lloyd's and was very much like a Walmart. That store was the first place to carry the Captain Marvel movie serial on VHS. And
the old black and white one?
Yeah. So my mom bought that for me from that store. Again, I'm around 12 years old. So by the time I'm old enough to know and appreciate what this is, I've already got 2 Captain Marvel movie serials running around in my head, all those cartoons I watched in reruns. So anyhow,
did you ever watch the live action series from the 70s.
when he was in a van.
Okay, do you want to know when I watched that for the first time? Like, I mean, I saw bits and pieces of it. Don't get me wrong, but I actually watched it for the first time when the DC Universe streaming came out.
Okay.
And that was the first time I watched it from beginning to end.
Watch some of the great stuff like that, and Electric Girl, and
Dino Woman.
And you know, the serials are free to watch on Tubi right now.
They are.
The Adventures of Captain Marvel.
I still own them all. And it's funny. I was watching somebody do a review of them. Oh my God. I don't want to like miss. Anyhow, I'm sure I think the person is in the audience, but I don't want to get it wrong. But they were really struggling to get through the first 3 episodes of the serial. Like,
that's how I was with the Captain America serials, because it's like nothing, like not even close to what you think of when you think of Captain America.
I tried the Captain America one, Rob. It's rough.
Yeah, but the Flash
Buck
Gordon
Rogers,
and Buck Rogers, yes.
And the Flash Gordons are completely watchable.
Oh, wow, 100%.
Oh, and he's a handsome man too. Jeez,
Buster Crab.
Yeah. Oh my God, great! I love those. I love me some of those Flash Gordons.
But man, watching that Cap, I couldn't get through the first episode, Rob. I was like, no, this is too bad. This is just way too bad.
I watched it all on I watched a whole bunch of them on an airplane one time.
And how about those Batman serial ones?
Some swag. Yeah, the Batman ones. There's a lot of there's a whole bunch of, like, I have them on a YouTube channel I found that has a whole string of the serials from, and
that's why I watch them now too, since you introduced me to it.
Yeah, I'll download them and take them on an airplane with me because it's easy to watch and nobody bugs me, and I'm not offending anybody with anything on my screen.
You got like 3-4 hours of entertainment depending on the serial.
Exactly, right?
All right. Oh, all right. Next book. Sorry, we got distracted by serials and talking Shazam.
Cereal. How about Frosted Flakes? Wait, no.
This is 5 books in one because it's really just one story.
Okay.
Right?
Number 7 is 5 books. Got it.
I was 17 years old. I did have my driver's license, but I had no access to a car, and there was a comic book show coming up at the Kingston Armory in Kingston, New York. Kingston Armory doesn't even host public events anymore, right? But I was 17 years old, so this is quite a while back in the 90s, and 110. But at the Armory, I met and I had signed some Spawn by Greg Capullo.
Oh, yes. The Spawn.
And also while I was there, I told him how much I very much enjoyed a miniseries he worked on that he signed for me.
I was going to say, is it the Angela one? Yep.
Yeah. I told him how much I loved this series. And I was like, I hope you get your own Angela series. He's like, please tell Todd. I was like, do you need me to write him a letter? I'll write a letter into Image and tell Todd that I want you to have a series.
And now it's at Marvel.
Well, if I had only known, right? Jeez.
I have that 3-issue miniseries, and it's lucky you got it now because that series is like, they want like $40 for all 3 books now, like a lot of places.
Yeah, that's still not too bad for this. This is still a gem as far as I'm concerned, this miniseries. And then the 2 issues of Spawn just happened to be really fun, and I just had them on me. So that is one whole tale for number 3, which was 5 freaking books. But I had such a lovely time meeting him. And what do you call it? My God, who writes Batman a lot? And with Capullo. Scott Snyder. So Rob Liefeld years ago initiated a Twitter fight with Scott Snyder, right? And in the crossfire, Greg Capullo was so calm and gracious and wonderful. And so I tweeted him. I said, man, you are still like such a good dude. Like, like when I met you way back at the Kingston Armory when I was 17. And he's like, why do you gotta make us both feel old right now? But I loved it, and he knew exactly what I was talking about. I mean, I don't know if he remembered me, but he knew the Kings when he was at the Kingston Armory. And I met Ron Mars for the first time there too, so that was really neat.
Well, Boar, love Angela Lansbury.
Yo, Angela Lansbury is the murder she wrote. All right.
Yeah, remember, Cliff was only 17, baby.
That was 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I had those books signed.
Nice.
So the next one,
it's sad that those books came out in the 90s, and the 90s still don't feel like 30 years ago to me. I mean, they just don't, but obviously they are, but time is weird.
Time is weird. Time is very weird.
Tell me about it, Gary, when you go to the bar with your kids.
Right. I will.
So we're entering Only Slabs territory. Because
should I call Chris the comic vet?
Right.
Oh my God! Summon them!
I'll let you ask the Chris questions on this one, Rob.
I'll put up the maple leaf signal.
So,
Boo.
These two are like sentimental to me in just a unique recent way. I really loved Super Sons, and I didn't know how I felt about the aging up of John Kent. And then Ethan Van Sciver is the one who blasted out that he heard through friends at DC that they're gonna force Superman to be gay, blah 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 blah, and all this stuff. And I really didn't want to find out from him. And I almost didn't want it to be true because I was a little upset. And then I was like, oh my God, like if they are doing this, could they please give the title to somebody who I think I can trust to tell the story? And it turns out that they did. They gave it to Tom Taylor, and I think he did a great job. And I've got this Superman, Son of Kal-El.
Foil.
Nice.
Yep. This is...
Agreed, Taylor.
Yep. This is the foil cover signed by Tom Taylor, John Tim's cover, and it is the Fan Expo edition.
That explains the foil. Because I don't remember seeing any foil when that came out.
This is 1 in 1,500, and on the CGC census, this is one of the only two at the time. I haven't checked recently, but it's one of the only two signed. And 9.
Well, if it's a 1 in 1,500, I'm sure there's not a lot of them out there at all. Period.
No,
let alone.
No, I don't really trust those statistics. Like, I'm supposed to believe that 6 comic shops all invested in one cover, right? And we all know what it takes to order a special cover, and then they destroyed intentionally 4,000 of them so that this unique low number could exist just for you, the consumer.
Well, they probably didn't destroy the others, but did they say they did?
I in this particular case, I do not know, but there are cases like the Spawn issue, the Spawn San Diego Comic-Con edition, where everyone's like, "Oh no, they were supposed to all have been destroyed," and hundreds of them keep appearing on the CGC census.
Now, Bobby is more of a card person, so Bobby, comics have numbered runs. So you'll have like either an exclusive run that's just for one place. It's one store, one site's exclusive. They'll do 500. They have limited ratio variants, which are numbered copies. Plus they have limited releases for special events that are numbered copies.
Yeah. So in this case, what we're talking about, we go 1 in 1,500 means a store had to order 1,500 copies of this title. Could be multiple covers, but they had to order 1,500 copies to get the ability to order one of these. So if a store had an exclusive run or got together, they could have bought 5 or 6,000 copies and getting 4 copies of this type of thing. So only your really, really big stores will end up with something like this that the online ordering or are doing exclusives. You're never going to get something like this at your local mom and pop shop necessarily.
Yeah. But as for my mom and pop shop, this 1 in 25 Superboy Man and Tomorrow manifested from there.
Yeah.
Versus I had to order on eBay that Son of Kal-El foil #1. And I ordered it specifically to send for the Tom Taylor signing.
Wow.
And of course I sent it with a good buddy, a good companion. And it's Superman Son of Kal-El #5. It's the DC Pride cover. I count it as a Kiss cover. And this is the issue where John Kent comes out. And I found it to be written very well. And I was very happy. And I was thrilled that, in my opinion, Tom Taylor did such a great job with the series and telling the story in a way that I felt was appropriate and authentic, but still telling a great John Kent Superman story.
We got DVH saying he loves the Pride cover.
Thank you, DVH.
Well, it's tough to get good writers that know how to handle characters and material. So when you get someone good, like Tom King or Tom Taylor, or someone that just understands what they're writing, it's always a bonus.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you something from personal experience with a lot of gay and bi writers who have worked at Marvel and DC. And when they take to very specific titles, not only do they draw on, their interpretation of the character, right? And of course, what like editorially they are set out to do, but when they're dealing with like supporting cast members and particular themes, they actually communicate with the people in their lives who best represent those themes. And I have always found that wonderful, and I've always appreciated that when I've interviewed folks, and there's been a lot of candor, and they share, and I like that, and I think that's important. Just like I thought it was important. I think it was is it Howard Chaykin the other day I was talking about? Like he came under fire for something he wrote ages ago, and and he had a female trans character in a story, and like he's like, I wrote it based on someone this character is based on someone literally from my own life, right? And like when I originally read his story, like I was like, oh yeah, like I know people like this too. Like I understood, and I was like, no, we do not need to go attacking him. He was drawing from personal experience, and it's good. And it's so funny because of the arguments I get into people now, it's like, oh, writers are inserting themselves into the story. I'm like, no, they could be inserting their experiences into the story, but it's called storytelling for a reason.
There you go.
All right.
And Howard Chaykin's great.
He really is a pretty cool guy. So the next one up is for sentimental value. I actually won a giveaway at Christmas from the Austin LeMay.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Oh, you got your sad.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. I'm like, this was it just felt really special. It was such a nice win on Christmas or Christmas Eve.
9/8s aren't easy to come by on that.
Right. No. And like, anyhow, just, even if it wasn't a 9/8, just the fact that Austin sent it, with the swag and everything. And it's just a special piece of the community that I had missed out on. And now, like, that's it. This is in the PC forever. I feel really good about it.
And Austin, just another one of those really good people out there in the community.
He is just wonderful. And
you bagged your first LeMay.
Yeah, and a great artist. Actually,
Absolutely.
not the first LeMay I bagged, but we're not going to.
Oh, there you are.
There you go. And DVH says that he has a 9/8, but you have the sexy signed version.
Indeed. So let's see.
I don't want on your 11th extended personal story.
I don't want to do sentimental ones back to back. Because I don't want to get too emotional. So which number am I on?
I thought you were on 11, but just go through your books.
Yeah, it all depends upon whether or not 2 through 5 were really 2, 3, 4, and 5, or whether or not they were just one. Because then your sixth, you said third, so we really got confused.
All right.
Either
You know
way,
what?
you
We're
do you.
gonna-
Go ahead and talk about your book.
All right. So
Chuck Hensey says it's time to drink. We lost count, therefore we drink.
I'm technically on 11.
That's what Gary says.
That's what I had, but it doesn't matter. If you have a couple extra books, show them.
All right. We're gonna call these honorable mention. Okay.
9.5.
There was an LCS that we had to drive out to. It was always there specific places. It was always a special trip with my mom, right? So that was difficult. But this one LCS, it was run by a woman. I'm forgetting her name, and I'm ashamed of myself. But it was called the Baseball Card Shop of Fishkill, and she had this book on the wall all the time. And one of the last times I saw her, and then of course she liquidated the store. She passed away from cancer shortly after. But I had finally stashed enough money to grab this book off the wall. And so of course it's near and dear to me.
Oh, nice.
So in the very condition it was in the day I bought it. I think I rebagged and boarded it, and I'm gonna rebag and board it again.
Now, regardless of what the writers write, because the writer's always going to write who they want to win, or they're going to write a tie.
Well,
in your heart of hearts, who's faster?
Flash. And I love Superman, but it's Flash. You're going to tell me someone who literally taps into the Speed Force? Like, Superman's speed is based on his biological energy production, right? It's not based on the Speed Force. But see, some writers mess it up, right? Because some of them say anyone who's achieving super speed is tapping the Speed Force, right? So if you use that logic, then it's Superman tapping the Speed Force. So why wouldn't he be the most badass? But no, I'm going with Flash because he is the one connected to the Speed Force. Now,
Catalano agrees with you.
Thank you. Now, if we're going to argue about Barry versus Wally, that's going to get real ugly.
Oh. Well, now I got to know.
I wholeheartedly believe that Wally is the faster one.
But Barry is the Speed Force.
But Barry is the Speed Force, and that's complicated, right? But whenever when it just seems like in particular stories, either it's Barry's ability to achieve specific vibrations that save the day, or I'm sorry, Bobby, I agree. Thank you so much. Come on. Or it's Wally's ability to just be that guy, to achieve that speed that comes through. So again, depends on the writer.
Now, and overwhelmingly, the crowd agreed with you that Flash must be the fastest. There's Damian right there.
Yeah. Because, listen, everyone's got to have their niche, okay? Superman already gets to be the best dude ever, right? So Batman gets to be the most prepared. Wonder Woman gets to be the most compassionate, even though she could punch Superman head on. Like, come on. I don't know if I want to do the other two honorable mentions. Like, they're fun.
Don't do what you want to do. It's your month, remember?
I'm gonna do them because I love them. So this one came from the Old Man Collectibles mystery box last time around.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't afford to jump in this time, and it is the first full appearance of Ultron.
Oh, wow, very nice.
So this is just great. I do happen to love the Avengers, and even though I'm more of a DC guy, and I mean, I don't know, I do feel like in my heart, maybe I'm just 50-50, right? But this is just great, a beautiful surprise, a wonderful addition to the collection. So I was really excited.
And a great cover.
I think everybody's partial to whichever title they started reading first. What universe you were a DC kid initially. That's what you got. That's the environment. And then later on, you go, okay, this isn't bad. Whereas, like for me, I grew up in the Marvel universe, and so that's my preference. Although I still love Batman and Batman. Yeah.
So this past year, I fell in love. We've all been there, Rob. This past year, I fell in love with the series Danger Street. And all the characters that appear in Danger Street all came from a series called First Issue Special.
Yep.
And as some of you may know, my comic shop does auctions regularly. And this one particular auction, I came across the first issue of First Issue Special and picked it up for $20 in a 9.4.
Oh, nice.
And it is the first appearance of Atlas, or at least this version of Atlas in DC.
It is, and it's a weird read. Have you read it, Cliff?
DC Atlas.
Yes. No, I did. Well, listen, I wouldn't be surprised it's a weird read because Danger Street is a weird read, right? But I have not read this, but I just, it was one of those things where like I scored it. I felt really good about the score, but also like I'm enjoying that series so much. And like I have the first issue of what it's supposed to be based on. So it was just worthy of an honorable mention just because it feels good all around.
You're not going to wow me though, Cliff, until you have Lady Cop.
Well, I'm not going to be looking for Lady Cop.
It's all about Lady Cop, I'm telling you.
I'm
gotta have the
sorry.
Lady Cop.
Listen. Oh, wait a second. Oh, what was the show called where Betty White was the cop?
Golden Age Cop?
No, she was a police woman or something like that. It was short-lived. It didn't make it past season 1, but I do vaguely remember it because Nick at Night covered it back in the day.
Don't listen to Gary.
So we're gonna do the official number 11.
Sounds good.
So is this your extended story or your spec pick?
This is my extended story, right? And then
Okay.
the spec pick is the final one, right?
Got it.
So my introduction to this version of the comic book community, Phil, I still haven't set that box up, but I found more stuff to put in your box, Phil. So, I mean, one thing good happened. So, yay, Phil's going to get some nice things. So, I'm sorry for the segue. I ran an all-night duck race live on my Cliff on Comics channel once I had hit over 100 subscribers, right? And I just did it out of nowhere, and a bunch of people popped in, like K-pop, like, what are you even doing? And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just running this giant race. And basically, I just stuck in like the name of anyone who regularly was on one of my streams or the council streams, right? So Phil won. And of course, many people running an all-night stream, there's a couple of things in the stream that happened that I don't ever want anyone to see again, so I had to take it down. But I did make sure to preserve the winner. So Phil Ailing is the winner, and then I wrote to Phil and I was like, hey, I still haven't finished your box, but do you like stuff? It's like, I like Azrael and Batman stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look for Batman and Azrael stuff.
Sounds like it was rigged to me.
It really was. It just happened. It was fun. And now I have over 500, and I'm getting close to 600. I cannot believe it. It's amazing. So there'll be another giveaway coming for me. It's really great. But
in a week-long duck race.
No, I'm not going to do that. But the overnight duck race was just super crazy, and a whole bunch of why would anyone do this? And I don't know. I just
why would anybody watch it?
Right, exactly. And I still got 22 viewer hours out of it.
Wow, nice.
So I was so now it's marked private because I want to keep the hours.
That's the way to do it.
So this book I'll try not to make it too complicated. So, we know that I was friends with Angel, also known as Empire Comics. And just as he's been taught at the time, and this is early June, he's been talking to us about the comic book community and, do you follow this guy, that guy? Do you know any of these people? And we're like, no, we're oblivious, right? And he had his 1,000 follower giveaway, and Sam from the Council of Comics was on it, and Brian LCS was there, and a bunch of people, and everyone's giving stuff away, whatever. But I reached out to I didn't directly reach out to Brian. I subbed Brian's channel and I watched Breakfast with Brian. And this is where just I started popping up in chats and people are like, "Hi, Clifford NY." Like, so, which led to okay, I need a better persona, Cliff on Comics. And then Brian had tagged me in this giveaway. And I on Instagram, and I follow the usual stuff I do on Instagram, like, yeah, giveaway, rah, rah, rah. And we found out that Empire passed away, which was a sudden heart attack one evening. And so I was headed to the funeral, and it was really sad because most of our friends who knew him were out of town. Sam was in California with his girlfriend, and all those Council in California episodes come from that trip. Our friend Josh was with his family up north on vacation at the time. And green shirt guy, Ronaldo, him and his son were leaving for Germany. So it just was me and Steve at the store. Steve, who's done many covers for Vampirella, for our store exclusives. So we went to the funeral, and while I was heading to the funeral, I got the notification on my phone that I had won this slab. And Spider-Man was Angel's favorite character. So I don't know if I believe in signs, but I can't help what I was feeling that day and just how special this feels to me as a result. So this is just another one that's forever in the collection.
Oh, very
Nice.
cool, man.
So let's go. Let's go to my spec book.
All right.
All right. So my spec book is Spider-Boy showed up on the scene, right? And not a lot of people took it seriously, and there was like momentum, but the momentum just kept going and going and going. Like, Spider-Man is here. Spider-Boy has arrived. Spider-Boy is enjoying a series. People are having a good time with it. I think sometimes people just need a fun series in their life, and I guess this is Spider-Boy was the arrival, right? Now I assume because Spider-Boy was so well received that Kid Venom would also be well received. Oh, hey, Biggie, and thank you, Unofficial Geek, and thank you, Shop.
Hey, already have a slab of it. It just came out last week.
So, it came out over the summer, but I got 3 of these slabbed. One of them was a 9.0, so that was right in my first Whatnot auction. I was like, yeah, you got to go 9.0. But yeah, like, and of course, obviously, I would go back and forth with Angel about speculation when I would see him in the shop. But yeah, I think this one's gonna be a sleeper hit. I feel like there's some interest in him, but like it hasn't peaked yet. But I'm like, if we're gonna do spec, it's gonna be my boy Kid Venom here.
But I mean, isn't arguably technically Venom right now Kid Venom because it's Brock's kid who's Venom?
Right, but he's a grown ass man while he's Venom. And this
is he though?
Well, kind of. You know how complicated those stories are.
There's 12 symbiotes running around right now.
Yeah, exactly. So like, this is the fun one. Like, let's go with the fun one. and Black Widow symbiote, whatever she's calling herself now.
Well, and then isn't Goblin Child a Red Goblin a symbiote child?
Yep.
See, but hey, you're saying that I didn't read this one, so I don't know. You're saying this is lighthearted and
right, closer to lighthearted, right? So like,
interesting.
He very much is a well done mirror to Spider-Boy.
So he lightheartedly eats people.
Well, he hasn't eaten anyone, so that's a good thing, But he does put up a real fight. But they recently collected his first 3 appearances last week in a single issue. For anyone who's missed out. And I like him, and he's fun. And I just figured there's a lot of weird things I could have tried to dig up for spec, but I was like, let me pick a book that I actually think, maybe something somehow someday.
Fair enough.
There you
There's
go.
no wrong answers.
Thank you.
And I'm waiting for them to do this story where they bring in this this creature that's always preyed on symbiotes that's out there in the galaxy somewhere, and he wipes out 90% of the symbiotes in the Marvel universe and just takes it back to a normal level.
No, that's not how they'll do it. There'll be some kind of virus that only is that the symbiotes contract and wipes out, all most of the symbiotes. That's how it works.
It would be so much cooler to have a
in the
symbiote,
Marvel universe. It's got to be a virus. That's what they do.
right? A symbiote predator would be cool though, something that comes out and just hunts symbiotes.
Each of you have a valid potential storyline there.
I don't want mine to be right. I'm just going off of history. Marvel doesn't seem to come up.
Oh no, I mean I agree with you. And let's be honest, Gary's is the more exciting.
That's why they won't do it.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. I'm like, am I the only one who just misses issues of people just hacking and slashing and punching for a little bit?
Right. Yeah, we got some beef. Let's settle it.
Yeah. Wolverine, Silver Samurai, make it happen.
Elektra
and Bullseye, Elektra and Daredevil, Elektra,
right?
Elektra and Hand Soldiers. I mean, basically, yeah, you're right, Elektra.
She punches everything.
And stabs and kicks. She does it all.
What the problem is, Gary? See, look, your idea of having a hunter or predator type thing to go after symbiotes is Marvel's done that too with the hunters for the spiders. And what came of that? Nothing. They're all back. They all lived. Everyone they killed came back to life or whatever. And plus we got Spider Boy. So we got even more spiders people out of all that. So Marvel doesn't even know how to kill people off.
No, because now instead of calling them clones, they just make them something different.
Yeah. Fucking spider totems from another universe.
What's really funny? Amazing. Someone brought up, and I took it to heart, that Amazing Spider-Man, part of it being such a sleeper is that Peter doesn't do anything, right? But when Peter had the sins of the Goblin in him, right? Even though he was a full-on supervillain, he was taking action and kicking butt and taking names, and those issues are fantastic, right? Except that Peter has to be taken care of. And so, of course, it plays into the very likely theory that Marvel has editorial reasons to downplay Peter Parker Spider-Man, right? Whereas they don't have such restrictions with, Earth 1616 Ultimate Spider-Man. So there he is swinging into action this week. And all the other Spider books, which are focused on non-616 Peter Parker, a lot of action, a lot of momentum, so I don't know, but it does feel that way. If you read those issues like 1 to 30 something, you're like, wow, Peter really isn't doing crap. And then it's like, oh, wow, Peter's taking action when he's a villain. And then it's like, oh, gang war is here. And oh, everyone is doing the work. And Peter's there too. Like literally, that's what's happening. It's like, oh, gang war. Everyone's in on it. And Peter's there too.
So I'm listening to you, Cliff, and I'm trying to figure something out right now.
Okay.
So, Rob, do you know how to bring up the StreamYard giveaway tool for this stream?
Yes.
Can you do so? I got Spidey's Powdered Tumblers contacting me.
Let's see. Let me see if I can do it because I'm not an admin on here. But I'm only a co-host. But let me see. Casual crew. Oh, it is. Special guest Cliff. I guess I can. All right. So let me just present, share screen, share. And what do you want your hashtag to be?
It's going to be Spidey's Powdered Tumblers giving it away. So I would do hashtag SPT.
SPT. Got it.
Ooh. Am I allowed to participate?
Yes.
All right, then I'm doing it.
And yeah, so Jose is saying he's gonna give away a mystery Superman tumbler in honor of Cliff's appearance on the episode.
Not to be confused with STP or STD. Don't confuse them. It's SPT.
Yes. Well, we all know Taylor's special.
All right. So, but first though, the most important thing is to thank Spidey's Powdered Tumblers. Jose, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And
Super pendificus.
right. So let me see. And you got Jose saying that he loves you, Cliff.
Oh, thank you.
And Brad says it's rigged if you win, Cliff.
And I don't care.
There you go.
So again, we were talking about Jose earlier. Just a great, generous guy in the community.
He really is.
And let me see. How many entries are there, Rob?
There are 17 out of
17.
22.
Okay. So let's see. All right, 17 out of 22. We'll give it what? 30 more seconds and then run it?
If that. There's
All
only
right, so
it's 5 people.
why don't you say what you have coming up
3
and then
letters.
we'll run it?
I've already talked about what I had coming up, but I'll say it again. Thursday, $425 comic book mystery box from Nick's Kicks and Comics. I was feeling flushed for a moment and looked into the sun and said, what the hell? Go ahead and do it. So
Listen, I'm excited. Should I remain excited?
it's a mystery.
It's from Nick's Kicks and Comics. You can
Yeah, it's a Nick's Kicks and Comics. It's a Nick's Kicks and Comics box. It's
my
fire.
Expectations are high. Did you guys see that Czars ordered 2 of the smaller mystery boxes from him and he had them shipped to Australia?
Yeah.
And one of them had the first appearance of Silver Sable in a 9.8.
Nice.
It was nice.
So no, it's like please, people go check that out.
They got to Australia already. That's impressive.
Very impressive. And my package on
Don't talk about your package, Cliff.
no, the package
It's not that kind of show.
The package I sent to Dr. Von Hoot.
Oh.
I think it arrived Saturday.
Yeah, good. And we can find out whether or not Customs only hates me or if they just hate him.
Well, wait. Do you know what he said to me when it arrived? He said, "Cliff, this was Rob's Fat Stacks level speed." I was like, "Oh my god!" But Rob, let me tell you, it sat at Jamaica Bay, Queens for I don't know how long. I checked it every day, and it sat there in customs because that's my customs point, right?
Nick's Kicks and Comics, Carrie.
Yeah, Nick's Kicks and Comics mystery box, $425 mystery box. Then, of course, Saturday, I'll have only slabs back again.
Oh, DVH loves my package. Thank you, DVH. I love you too.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and spin it. We haven't earned anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, Wheel of Fish.
Eddie from the Batcave. Congrats, Eddie. Eddie's a good dude, too. Eddie's a really good dude.
Hey, and Batman is Superman's perfect frenemy, so it's appropriate.
And Eddie's a big DC guy, so it went to a good DC lover.
No, I'm glad. Congratulations.
And he agreed with you on the aging up of John Kent.
So, Eddie, reach out to Spidey's Powdered Tumblers to give him your information so that way they can get that out to you.
Nice. And once again, thank you, Jose, for the very kind giveaway on the show. But so Rob said what he's got coming up. I'm going to say what I'm coming up, and then Cliff, we're going to go to you after me. So what I have coming up is we have Southern Comic Geek Jason on for his second appearance this Thursday. And then next week we have Chris from Retro Rocket Comics on the 1011.
Oh.
So I think that's making his debut on YouTube.
No, he's been on. He's been on YouTube before, but he's doesn't, because he was on like Comics Curing Cancer in the past and some other stuff.
And then next Thursday we have Phil Tastic on In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects. So some fun stuff coming up.
Did you say In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects? Oh, wow. We haven't had one of those in a while.
No, yeah, I'm trying to bring it back here and there sporadically, some interviews.
It's okay. He's bringing it back.
Right. All right, Cliff, what's coming up for you, sir?
Tomorrow night, I had to reschedule my movie night because of my own technical issues. But I'm going to do a hangout at 7 p.m. with C-Bizzle, so that's gonna be really fun. And we're just gonna talk. We're just gonna shoot the whatever and just talk about some of our recent pickups. and maybe about our love of Fall of X, because like we're the two guys. In the community, we're the two guys. There's a few others of you, but we're the vocal ones. And oh my god, what see, like it's so funny because like as things are not happening in the moment, I don't have it, but I did not do Cliff's Crisis Quest trivia this evening so that I could be here. So I postponed it to next week, and next week I will have TM Nerdy, and I will have Brother John's Comics, and I will have the immortal Biggie Shaq as my contestants and guest. So I very much look forward to that. Friday night I have a hangout with Big Lion Cat coming up, so that should be really fun. Oh my god, please feel better, Eddie.
Yep.
And then Sunday nights, it's movie night with the Council of Comics. This Sunday, we do the box office as always, and we will do our take on the extended edition of Return of the King. Lady Fantastic gave us her stamp of approval that we did a good job in the Two Towers, so I hope we do not fail her this week.
Well, she'll let you know.
No, she clearly will. So, like, and when our stream ended, I let the boys know. I was like, you do not understand. Her stamp of approval is key because she's that big of a
return, and it's of the Jedi.
Yes.
And you got a new sub tonight as well, Cliff.
Thank you, Hector. Muchas
nice.
gracias.
Good stuff. And Carrie, as she was mentioning earlier, she is on for her second appearance on the 23rd.
Yes.
So don't miss that.
There you go.
She hasn't been on the channel in a while, so it'll be nice to welcome her back in. All right. So, guys, thank you, Rob, for co-hosting tonight. Nice to see you again after a little hiatus there, buddy. Good to catch up a bit. Cliff, thank you for coming on and being a part of the show, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And now we just got to get you on in the hot seat and do an interview with you.
Book it, baby. Book it.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to be reaching out. And of course, none of this is as much fun without our great audience. Thank you to every single one of you in the chat. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Everyone's links are in the description below. Please go check them out. And go check out on Instagram and YouTube, Jose Spidey's Powdered Tumblers. Jose's on both of those, the guy who sponsored the giveaway tonight. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. And until next time, as we like to end these things, keep it casual.